Welcome to Voice of Immigration. I'm your host, Jon Velie, CEO of OnlineVisas. This is 5 things to know about how to win an O-1 visa or EB-1 green card for the tech industry. As an immigration attorney, one of the most asked questions that I receive is, do I qualify for an extraordinary ability O-1 visa or EB-1 green card? We will go through that process with a lot of potential clients, take them through the criteria, and find out if they meet those criteria or not. So I'm going to lay out 5 things to help you analyze your situation, and if you don't yet meet the criteria, I'll give you a couple of tips on what to do to meet those standards to win an extraordinary ability visa, whether it's the O-1 temporary work visa or the EB-1 green card. So here, let's go. Number 1, what do you do that is one of the best things in your field? This is called creating, the pond, right? It can be a big lake, it can be a small pond. You just need to be one of the biggest in it. So a lot of people tell me that they are something, or that they launched a company, or they've held a petition in an impressive company for a long time, or they do this or they do that. And that's important to know. But instead of just doing something pretty well, you have to have notoriety for it. So the key thing is to think about, what's your specialization? What are you really good at? And how has that been recognized? If you think about it, the criteria are really what are the different elements of when somebody's good at something that they're recognized for. So number 2, have you been recognized for your skill in the field? So it happens that someone may be one of the very best in their field, but they've never been recognized because they've been hidden in a mid-level company that they've been working for many times on a visa, many times on an H-1B visa. They won't be put into a really high position so that they can be paid a lower salary, but they're really good at what they do. So there's a number of things that we can do to help you be recognized, or to show you what you need to do to be recognized in your field. That's what the criteria again, it might be national or international awards. It might be membership in elite organizations. It might be media about you. It might be scholarly articles by you. It might be a high salary. It might be contributions you've made to your field that are unique. It might be that you were the judge of the work of others and how you can do all those other things. So those are the different categories. You need to hit at least 3 of them and have risen to the top of your profession. So if you're really good, that's the first great step. Then it's, how do you get recognized? We can tell you some hints about that. Number 3, can I operate my own company under an O-1 visa? Well, you can work for one company. That's the typical way to get a visa, especially if you're on an H-1B. But you can also have multiple employers or streams of income, including your own business, or be paid by a foreign employer under the O-1 if you use an agent-based petition. We've held thousands of these for our clients as agents, so that they can increase their employment options or to work for their own company. So yes, you can. There are some important things to know. You have to be an employee, so we'll take you through that process and how you can structure your company that way. But we've helped a lot of people in the tech industry go from working from one company to working for one company and another, or only working for their own company as long as they get enough clients under the O-1 visa. Number 4, can I get letters from important people? Is that enough? No. We inherit a lot of cases, either at the denial stage or the request of evidence of that denial. One of the biggest issues we see is when people think that they can just get letters to support their petition as evidence. We think that there are 3 different types of evidence, and here's what they are. Primary evidence is an objective thing. It's like a brick, right? So what's that? That's a contract, it's an award, it's a certificate for a membership in an association, it's a patent, it is your payroll check showing your high salary, it is some sort of invitation or flyer for something you've judged at a hackathon or something like that. These are primary evidence. You must have primary evidence. Secondary evidence is an opinion letter, and there's 2 different types. There's the opinion letter from experts. Those are people, they don't need to know you, but they need to evaluate this evidence and say why it's important. Or recommendation letters. Using recommendation letters the wrong way, such as how you would use an expert, is the wrong thing to do. Just because you worked with somebody doesn't make them an expert, and it makes them a little too vested in your outcome. So you only want to use recommendation letters to really talk about why you were contributing to the success of a company, or other critical things that you did that maybe describe your unique skill set. But just using those letters is wrong. Tertiary evidence is something that can support either the primary or secondary evidence. So it might be evidence of an award, about the award itself, but not about you winning the award or your company winning the award. But it then gives credence that that award is important. Understanding those three things are really critical to get that done. What are some evidence of examples that are insufficient? Immigration officials will play gotcha with you, especially on the O-1 and the EB-1, more so on the EB-1. We've seen instances that they think that if they think you're exaggerating or trying to convince them of something that meets a criteria and it doesn't, it can infect the entire case. We call this the string in the sweater. So they'll take the string and they'll unravel the entire case. They'll say something like, you tried to tell us that you won this thing and we don't believe you, and therefore we don't believe you about anything else that you've written. That is a horrible thing that they can do from time to time, but it's really important to make sure you don't exaggerate. So the best thing is stay away from these insufficient pieces of evidence. Here's some of them. Local press. Local press is not what you need to show that you've been in an article. That needs to either be national press or a trade publication. A trade publication can be something about your industry. Those are usually easier to find, but the local newspaper talking about local boy or girl does well will not work. National organizations that have only a fee-based entry, that's a big one. So there's lots of those. If you're in the Engineer Association of America, if there is such a thing, and you just pay your fee and that everybody's in it and they go to the big conference, those don't count. It needs to be elite organizations. You need to show the requirements for how you got in, who put you in, and what their background was to show that they're experts. Another is student awards. I don't care who you are. If you win the best prize as a student, they will diminish this because there's an industry. They don't think you're in the industry if you're doing it as a student. One exception is those in academia that write articles as students that get published in scholarly journals. But student awards won't do it. Another one is we talked about regional awards. We talked about, local press. Regional awards are not the same, or city-based awards, or company-based awards. Those don't work. So these are the 5 things that are important to know. But if you really want to learn more about your case, go to OnlineVisas.com and set up a strategy session. I'll take you through everything about your case to help you determine if you're there, and if you're not, what you can do. You can also go to OnlineVisas.com and check out the visa-specific pages for the EB-1 or the O-1. We have a lot of webinars. We're going to have webinars on these types of visas for the tech industry, but also for the other ones. If you have friends or you're in a different industry, sports, arts, entertainment, education, science, those sorts of things, we'll break that down for you too. There's also a lot of other visas that you might be eligible for. So anyway, check all that out. We'd love to help you and get you to where you're wanting to go. I'm Jon Velie. I'm the CEO of OnlineVisas, and we deliver dreams.